Hi, my name is Nancy LaPlaca, and I'm here to talk about my favorite subject, solar energy in Arizona. I'm here because if you want more solar in Arizona, and if you care about climate change, you need to know about the Arizona Corporation Commission. The Commission has enormous authority over electricity policy, and 5 commissioners make energy policy for 6.2 million Arizonans. Every 2 years, we elect or re-elect 2 or 3 new commissioners, so it's critical to get involved. Now, what's the connection between climate change and electricity? Well, coal-fired power is the largest single contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, mercury, acid rain, and other toxics. Where does Arizona's electricity come from? It mostly comes from large central station coal, nuclear, and natural gas power plants in remote areas. We don't think about it much until the electricity isn't available. Most people don't realize the U.S. uses twice as much electricity per dollar of goods and services produced as Europe, with essentially the same standard of living. And although the cost of electricity in Europe is double what we pay in the U.S., Europeans use only half as much. Now let's get back to Arizona and electricity. We export 30% of the electrons we generate. Of the power that's used in state, half is from coal, and the remainder is from nuclear and natural gas. We have a small amount of hydro, a little bit of wind, and a fraction of solar. So where's the solar in the United States? Well, California has a lot, and some places will surprise you. For the 3rd year in a row, New Jersey installed more solar than Arizona, and last year, Pennsylvania beat us. The cloudy country of Germany has nearly half the world's installed solar photovoltaics at a cost of $60 per year per household. A solar panel in Arizona generates twice as much electricity as a solar panel in Germany because we're so much sunnier. If you want to understand why Germany has so much more solar, it's worth looking into, so Google it. Now back to Arizona. Why is solar so good for us? Well, first of all, the sun's power is free. Of course, the solar power plant, the power plant we build to generate the power, that's not free, but the sun as a fuel is free. And the cost of solar PV, the most common type of solar, has plummeted 40% in just the past 2 years. Solar power creates 5 times more jobs per megawatt hour than coal or nuclear. And solar doesn't generate toxic waste, and most types of solar don't use any water. Solar doesn't need pipelines, solar doesn't need railroads, and solar doesn't need compressing stations. And there's another big benefit from solar. Every year, Arizona spends $3 billion on coal and natural gas from Texas, Colorado, and New Mexico. Well, rather than send that $3 billion out of state, why not build more solar in state? Finally, I want to talk about the cost of electricity and what's included in the cost and what's not included in the cost. Now, first of all, we don't include the enormous pollution costs from fossil fuels. Studies show that the health damages from coal are $187 billion a year in the United States, and every dollar spent on coal-fired electricity causes $2 in damages. Next, we don't include the benefits of clean renewable energy in the cost of electricity. An APS study estimated the benefits from distributed solar at 8 to 14 cents a kilowatt hour. To put this in perspective, the average cost of electricity you pay in Arizona is 10 to 11 cents a kilowatt hour. This study concluded that the value of not building new coal plants, not buying coal or natural gas, and not needing to pay for maintenance is worth 8 to 14 cents a kilowatt hour. Finally, once the solar plant's paid for, the electricity generated is pretty much free. Let's face it, the cost of coal and natural gas is bound to rise, but there's no cost for solar fuel. Solar is exploding worldwide, and in 2009, the United States had 100,000 solar jobs. We exported a net of $723 billion worth of solar products, and we created $3.6 billion in direct value. Best of all, the solar industry grew 70%. Yes, I'll say it again. The solar industry grew 70% last year in the United States, making it the fastest growing industry in our nation. And which state can benefit the most from an expanding solar industry? Arizona. And there's more great news. We've barely scratched the surface. We have fantastic potential in domestic solar hot water, commercial solar hot water, large-scale concentrating solar thermal plants, solar space heating, and believe it or not, even solar-powered air conditioning. If you want to see Arizona's future, go outside, look up, and smile big. Thanks for your time. I'm Nancy LaPlaca, and that's my commentary.